Hello, my name is Riley Jones, and today I'll be presenting on the female reproductive tract in livestock species. This topic is especially important in animal and dairy science because reproduction is the foundation of every production system. Without effective reproduction, there is no milk, meat, or genetic progress. In this presentation, I'll be focusing on the structure, function, microbial environment, and importance of the female reproductive tract in cattle, swine, and horses, and how it relates to fertility and productivity. Why it matters. The female reproductive tract is one of the most important systems in the livestock production. It is essential for fertility, herd replacement, and species continuation. If an animal can't reproduce, its economic value rapidly decreases. Reproductive efficiency directly affects calving intervals, herd size, genetic selection, and overall farm profitability. It also affects animal welfare since repeat breeding and reproductive disorders place physical stress on the animal. Law and research now recognize that healthy reproduction correlates strongly with overall animal well-being. Major structures. Across livestock species, the female reproductive tract contains the ovaries, oviducts, uterus, cervix, vagina, and vulva. Even though these structures are shared, they play a very specific role. The ovaries are responsible for producing eggs and releasing hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. The oviduct, which contains the infobilium and ampulla and isthmus, transport the egg and the site of fertilization. Once fertilized, the embryo enters the uterus, where the implantation and fetal development occur. The cervix acts as a physical and immune barrier. The vagina and vulva are often involved in mating and parturition. Species differences. Although the general design is similar, livestock species have adapted their reproductive tract for very different reproductive strategies. In cows, the uterine horns are moderate in size and the cervix contains several fibrous rings. This supports carrying a single calf and creates a strong barrier against infections. In sows, the uterine horns are extremely long and coiled to support large litters, sometimes over 10 piglets. The cervix is shaped to match the spiral shape of the boar's penis, helping to retain semen. Mares, which usually only carry one foal, have a larger uterine body and very developed endometrial glands that help nourish the early embryo. Hormonal control. The female reproductive tract is controlled by the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis, also known as the HPO axis. The hypothalamus releases GnRH, which stimulates the pituitary gland to release FSH and LH. These hormones act on the ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen promotes growth of the uterine lining, increases blood flow to reproductive tissues, and helps transport sperm. Progesterone is responsible for maintaining the uterine environment. During early pregnancy, by suppressing contractions and stabilizing the uterine lining, the precise timing of these hormones is critical. Even small disruptions can prevent fertilization or implantation. Sperm transport and selection. The female reproductive tract is not just a passive pathway. It is actually a very selective environment. After mating or insemination, only a small percentage of sperm reach the oviduct. The oviducts act as a reservoir where sperm are stored and released at the correct time for fertilization. Hormones, immune cells, and physical barriers all work together to filter out weak or abnormal sperm. This ensures that only the healthiest sperm reach the egg, increasing the chances of a successful pregnancy. Reproductive microbiome. For a long time, it was believed that the uterus was sterile. Modern research has shown that this isn't true. The female reproductive tract contains a diverse microbiome made up of bacteria such as firmicutes, bacteroidetes, and protobacteria. A healthy microbial balance supports immune function and helps protect against infection. Animals with balanced reproductive microbiomes tend to have a better conception rates, healthier pregnancies, and overall improved reproductive success. Dysbiosis and disease. When the microbial balance is disrupted, it is called dysbiosis. Harmful bacteria such as Fusobacterium can become dominant and trigger inflammation. This often leads to uterine diseases such as metrius and endometrius, which are major causes of infertility in livestock, especially dairy cattle. These conditions damage the uterine lining, disrupt hormone signaling, and significantly reduce conception rates. It is one of the primary reasons animals become repeat breeders and are eventually culled from production. Immunity and stress. The female reproductive tract also contains a highly active immune system. Cells such as neutrophils and macrophages defend against pathogens using receptor-like, toll-like receptors. However, environmental stressors, especially heat stress, poor nutrition, and negative energy balance, can weaken immune function. High-producing dairy cattle are especially vulnerable, as significant energy is diverted towards milk production at the expense of the immune and reproductive process. This makes the female tract more susceptible to infection and reproductive failure. Pregnancy. Early pregnancy. After fertilization occurs in the ampulla of the oviduct, the embryo travels to the uterus as it develops into a blastocyte. It must then hatch from the zona peculia and implant into the uterine wall. During this time, the uterus provides histotroph, a nutrient rich secreted by the endometrial glands to support embryonic development. The embryo also sends chemical signals to the mother system to maintain the corpus luteum and keep progesterone levels high, which is essential for pregnancy maintenance. Production impact. From a production standpoint, reproduction determines profitability. Every missed pregnancy represents lost time, lost income, and lost genetic potential. Animals that repeatedly fail to conceive are often culled from the herd even if they are otherwise healthy. Improving our understanding of the female reproductive tract allows for better breeding strategies, improved health management, and more sustainable livestock production systems. In conclusion, the female reproductive tract is a complex, intelligent, and highly regulated system. It responds to hormones, microbes, immune signals, and environmental factors. By understanding how this system works across livestock species, we can significantly improve fertility, animal welfare, and overall agricultural sustainability. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. This topic is especially interesting to me because it highlights how much control the female body has over reproduction. The tract is not just a pathway, it is an active, selective, protective, and adaptive system. It's a reminder of how incredible biology that supports the livestock industry every day. Thank you.